When I was managing the Accenture team at Alphabet, we would bring them on for about 6 months or so for the, and then we kind of like evaluate this SOW or statement of work to make sure that they're actually hitting all those goals. And then that if it go well, we're gonna re-up that send them another SOW with a new purchase order and kind of get them on board again. So that's pretty cool to know that if you do well, come on board again, and then you kind of get to stay on the project. Yeah. And I've always had such a great experience with Accenture. Like everyone there like works so hard. And they were kind of, for us, we were very lucky that they were based in San Jose, like our Accenture team. So we could meet with them locally, in person. It was always great. So that's great. You had an amazing time at Accenture. I kind of want to go over your transition now from Accenture over to, I believe, Boston Consulting Group.
Yeah.
And for those of you who are curious, BCG, Bain, McKinsey, they are like the most sought after consulting firms and one of the hardest ones to even get into. So Matt was actually able to get into Boston Consulting Group, BCG. Can you tell us about that experience? What was like interviewing for there? What was like applying?
For sure. So that's actually how I got out to LA from New York.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Originally, the job was posted in New York, but they moved the position to LA. And, once they offered me the role, I'm like, sure, I'll make it.
Yeah, man. I'm going to California. Did you go to undergrad in New York too?
No, I went to undergrad in Texas.
Okay.
University of Texas at Dallas.
No way. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's where I'm from originally.
Yeah.
Before going to New York from here. But how I got into BCG was they had like a division. It's now called BCGX, but at the time it was called BCG Digital Ventures. They have a really cool office in Manhattan Beach to where it's like, catered lunches, like multiple floors, like co-working spaces, like not far from the beach. But that process was pretty similar to Accenture's as far as like the 6 or 7 rounds, talking to different people, skills-based, going through over experiences. But for the final part of that, they actually flew me out to Manhattan Beach to do an in-person presentation.
Oh, cool.
And they gave me a project and gave me like it was 24 to like 48-hour turnaround. And I had to create like a deck and come up with like recommendations.
No way.
So it's kind of trial by fire. Like,
yeah. So that's actually how the Alphabet interview was too for me, where we had to create our own deck, show a presentation of a certain project we did, how we implemented that. Can you talk about your experience with creating a deck and that interview process style?
Yeah, definitely. So luckily at that point, I was, I lived in PowerPoint, so creating decks is...
You're pretty good at it.
All the short bits. It's something I was like well-versed in. It was like a second language. So the deck creation was like pretty effortless in the most part. Mm-hmm. But what I tried to do was I tried to figure out what they were looking for.
Yeah.
Like, I get myself out of my perspective and think about like from the people in the room, what are they looking for? What's going to make me attractive to them? And how am I going to add value if I had to join their team? And so a lot of this was like just knowing about like key criteria like in customer experience, but also like new technologies.
Yeah.
And then also framing recommendations in a very digestible way to audiences. That's the challenge in consulting a lot is you have, complicated subject matter and you have to boil it down and you have to speak the language to people across different business departments.
Okay. Got it. Well, thank you for that. And then kind of want to go into your time at BCG. Can you talk about who your client was or who you work with there? And then what did you do for them? And what was travel like for you for that?